What's up, fam, and welcome to the table for your first official helping of the Dish Serve Cold. I am your sister from another Mr. Misperception, and I am super excited that y'all are here to partake in the dish with me. Now, I've been debating what video I wanted to make my first, and I thought I had decided on one, but that was until I came across an article about daytime talk show co-host Jeannie Mai of The Real. Now, under normal circumstances, I would have continued to swipe up right on past the story, but the headline immediately grabbed my attention. It was from Parade.com and it read, "Watch, The Real's Jeannie Mai reveals she is a sapiosexual." Now, my initial reaction, I was shaking my head, rolling my eyes, wondering what the heck this was. Like, for real, not another one. I just finished reading up on all this pansexual stuff, and now there's another quote-unquote sexual orientation that I'm going to have to learn about. So, of course, I had to click on the article, and I actually was kind of surprised at what I read. So, if you don't know, Jeannie Mai recently divorced her husband of about 10 years and has been finding herself. Apparently, she's on the dating scene again, and during the girl chat segment of the show, she referred to herself as a sapiosexual while discussing, and this is how the article describes it, sex and whether or not it is true that women who are quote-unquote crazy are better in bed, and if being in love really makes couples fat. Okay, they got some very stimulating topics that they talk about. But anyway, I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to assess it.
I'm a sapiosexual, so I'm aroused.
What that?
Mine. Really? Okay, well, tell me if any of you ladies agree. A sapiosexual is someone who gets aroused by intelligence and stimulating conversation.
Oh, and then I'm a sapiosexual.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So
And looks
it sounds real fancy, but most people are.
No, some people are really, really are attracted to looks first or money or things like that.
Yeah.
No, it's all about conversation. So pillow talk can really make it for me. Like
Most women are.
Look, I'm just saying, for me, if you kiss this mine, she will follow. So I want my pillow talk to be.
Wait.
I want to talk about, like,
Give us an example, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Real talk.
Yeah.
I shared this with you before. My pillow talk. I'll give you a good example and a bad example. I know today when I meet men and I have pillow talk, if it's stimulating, if we're talking about dreams, goals, questions that you want answered in the world.
What? Like, give us an actual topic.
I like talking about world change. I like talking about things that you want to do in your community, like things you've done.
The trade deficit.
Or no, somebody that you've helped, somebody you've recently helped. Like if I hear somebody that you've personally helped in your life, that turns me on. If I hear about your family situations and what you're doing to play a role in your family to help change that turns me on. If you don't care and you're talking about things like if you're gossiping the whole time, if you're just talking about, if you're complaining during pillow talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yo.
You bringing up old people, old relationships.
Oh my God, who does
that? Ex-girlfriends. If your pillow talk is blah, or if you just roll over and sleep, everything dries up.
Okay.
So, as defined by Urban Dictionary, a sapiosexual person is someone who finds intelligence and the human mind to be the most sexually attractive feature for a potential sexual relationship. Now, the origin of the word comes from the term sapiens, which means wise or judicious. The term is now becoming mainstream with dating apps such as OkCupid and Sapio, which gives users the ability to define their sexual orientations as sapiosexual. Psychology Today says that those who admit to being sapiosexual will say that they are turned on by the brain, and they tend to be teased or excited by the insights of another person. This means that the person with whom you are attracted to might have a tendency to have an incisive, inquisitive, and irreverent mind. As foreplay, the sapiosexual person may crave philosophical, political, or psychological discussions because this turns them on. They are stimulated or challenged by the way another person thinks and have a desire to be connected with other intellectuals. They are basically in love with the mind. Librarians, teachers, professors, and others associated with learning institutions are often targets of sapiosexual persons. I would even dare to say that they may also become those professions. So I was kind of intrigued, and of course I took the next step, which was to take an assessment. So I found thought catalogs, 12 signs you are a sapiosexual, someone who is physically and mentally turned on by smart people. The article elaborated a little further and explained that while most people do consider intelligence something that aids in the pull to another human being, sapiosexuals find it to be the main point of a sexual and soul connection. Intelligence for them isn't just a bonus, it's a necessity. They then listed the following 12 signs. So number 1, intelligence and deep conversation inspires you and turns you on. While most love a great conversation, you require it daily from the person you choose. When you hear someone talking about their thoughts and the things that they question or know in life, you not only admire them, but you find yourself attracted to them on a level unlike any other. Okay, so yeah, I can check yes for this one. Number 2, credentials don't matter. When looking for potential partners, intelligence is always at the top of your list. You dig deeper into human beings, and if there isn't much below the surface, you find yourself bored and uninterested. You can't even fathom being with someone like that for the rest of your life. You crave intelligence, to you it's exciting, and it takes precedence over what someone does for a living or how much money they have. I can say yes for this one too. The digging deep thing goes hand in hand with the line of work that I went in. But that's a stretch saying that intelligence takes precedence over what someone does for a living or how much money they have. Those things are somewhat important, but I would feel pretty comfortable in knowing that an intelligent man would already have these things in order, so that likely wouldn't even be a concern. Number 3. You love debating. If someone challenges you to a debate, you find yourself drawn to them on a deeper level. And then you discover a counterpart who will always expand your mind and who doesn't shy away from using their knowledge to test or entice you. You don't find these kind of people stubborn or pretentious. You admire their eagerness and their thirst for smart conversation. Oh yes, check. I do love deep conversations, and no, I don't mind someone challenging me as long as they have something to back it up with. Don't come to me with just what you felt in your spirit. I need to see or hear tangible evidence. Okay, number 4, physical attraction is great, but conversation is better. Yes, you need to be physically attracted to someone in order to be with them. However, if they are simply just a pretty face, you tire easily. To you, conversation is key, and no matter how attractive someone is, if they cannot hold one and if they cannot deepen your knowledge, then they aren't worth your time. Very true. Yes for this one too. So number 5, the more you get to know someone, the more attracted to them you are. While most people often find themselves enthralled with others right away, you ease into relationships and attractions. For you, you always discover a diamond in the rough, someone who may not initially be the shiniest person in the room, but who holds within them depth and a thirst for life the more and more you dig into who they are. When you slowly discover someone's wit, someone's smarts, their emotional intelligence, the way they speak, the way they resolve conflict, your attraction to them grows. You are slow and steady. I have to check yes here too, because I'm definitely someone who sits back and observes people. I'm a practical, methodical introvert and a huge analyzer, so I'm going to carefully watch those things about a person, male or female, so I know if it's worth my time building any form of true relationship with them, or if I should just keep it hello and goodbye and moving. Number 6, you hate small talk. You feel physically uncomfortable when someone cannot hold a deep conversation with you. Small talk is a thing of nightmares, and you would much rather sit in silence than have to answer to someone's comments on the weather. You admire those who use their intelligence to carry conversations forward, to expand on ideas and ask questions that fuel speaking points. So yes, I wouldn't necessarily say that small talk is a nightmare, but it definitely isn't my dream come true. I'll do it if I have to because I'm just that kind of person. But yes, I'd rather say hello and keep it moving. I do have great admiration for those who can carry conversations forward. I believe my love for that is not only intrinsic, but was and is consistently shown to me because I have such an amazing example of that in one of my brothers. Well, both of my older brothers are phenomenal men. Let me start with that. But this one in particular that I'm talking about is so wise beyond his years, and he is just such a great human being. He has helped to shape me into the woman that I am, and because of his ongoing example, intelligence is a major requirement for me in any relationship. Number 7, you are extremely turned off by foolishness or brutism. You cannot stand those who need to assert themselves through aggression or over-the-top gestures. You have no tolerance for men or women who are foolish and who unravel easily. You find it attractive when someone can meet difficult situations with poise and with intellect. You admire those who can rationalize their feelings and who do not explode or fly off the handle whenever things go wrong. Yes, I just want to know whatever happened to self-control, self-respect, integrity, and couth. I mean, just look at the family that fought at Disneyland. Why is it so hard for so many of our people to control their emotions and think critically before acting? A man who handles his business in a mature way is definitely sexy. Now, that doesn't mean be a punk, but you can stand up for yourself and your family in a respectful manner that will garner much more respect than your trip to the county jail or the hospital. You have to try to handle situations in your life rationally, be solution focused without all the extra theatrics. That is at least until you can get to the privacy of your own bathroom and scream it out. Or, whatever you need to do to release that anger. Number 8, you would much rather meet someone in a bookstore than a bar. You don't go to bars to meet people. Nothing is attractive about screaming your name to someone you met 3 minutes ago on a dance floor. Instead, your dream date or your dream introduction would occur within a bookstore or at a documentary screening. For you, this is where you will find an intellectual counterpart because they are environments that will inspire meaningful conversation. Yes, it is too. Now, I don't think that everyone you meet in a bar is going to not be intelligent. I don't mind going out on a special occasion here and there, mostly because my first love is dancing and music. But it definitely has to be a grown and sexy event, not a ratchet hole in a wall, one way in, one way out, basement club, or house party. And no, you're not going to catch me there every weekend or even once a month for that matter. But I do agree that you have to put yourself in positions to be around the type of people that you want to meet and that you want to be like. If you want to be a mechanic, you can't spend your days or your free time around goat farmers. I'm just saying, it's simply the laws of attraction. Number 9, you are an incredible listener. You love when people can teach you things, and this has caused you to hone your listening skills. You admire when those you care for are able to go on about something they learned or something that they find fascinating. Not only does this expand your mind and connect you with your value of conversation, but seeing someone so passionate about knowledge and so capable of articulating it makes you bubble over with admiration. You have no problem sitting still and listening to them for hours. See, this one right here is a big yes. Probably the most important trait that a person of my profession should have is the ability to actively listen. It's funny because it makes me think of a certain YouTuber whose name shall remain anonymous because I don't know if he's married or not, and his ego is already quite big in a good way, so I don't need that. But this awesome black man is really something special. He reminds me a lot of my brother that I was talking about earlier, but on steroids. which I'm sure is why my brother is a fan and turned me onto his page. But this man has taught me quite a lot and seemingly co-signs on a lot of the sentiments that I believe in. Off the top of his head, effortlessly, he's able to speak about things you've never heard of. He easily expands my mind and addresses issues that I find to be important. His passion for knowledge and his precise articulation is admirable, respectable, and even a little sexy. But I do make it a point to watch his videos on a daily. Number 10. Bad grammar is one of your biggest turnoffs. If you start to talk to someone and they text you things like, "Hey, what are you doing?" or use short form, you cannot stand it. You are automatically turned off and you cannot continue talking to them any longer. Oh gosh, yes. The texting thing doesn't bother me that much, although I don't do a whole lot of abbreviating or short form myself. But when somebody else sends me something, short form, it's not a big deal. But let me get an email from like a coworker or a superior, a bunch of bad grammar. It drives me crazy. But my biggest pet peeve is the you are mixed up. Too many people seem to have forgotten about contractions. When I text or email thank you, who knows which one of those I'm going to get? But that's a bit much for that to be a total deal breaker. My approach would simply be to continue to do it the right way when I respond, and eventually maybe the other person will catch on. There's not necessarily a need to correct them. As long as y'all understand each other, then y'all should be good. Number 11, it's not just about book smarts for you. While most would think that being attracted to intelligence in others refers to their knowledge of topics that are tangible, that's not the only kind of intelligence that draws you to someone. Instead, you also find emotional intelligence and self-awareness incredibly sexy. You love when someone is in tune with their feelings, and you admire those who can rationalize and work through situations using their mind. You find that kind of maturity enticing. Yes, which is why I have to listen to my favorite YouTuber on a daily. His emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and rationalization skills are unlike any other. I truly admire him because what he does and the way he does it has made my relationship with God much more stronger. He has shown me proof of things that I never would have believed before. But the most telling part is that he doesn't have a page for the money or the fame. He does it for the betterment of our people, especially our men. Number 12, you are always looking to learn. The thought of sitting at home watching documentaries on the universe and things you are still learning about is ideal to you. You absolutely love anything that expands your mind, and you crave opportunities that provide you the ability to learn and grow. You seek out people who you find smarter because you would like to learn from them. You go to panels and lectures on topics you aren't well versed in because you see them as a challenge, and you enjoy educating yourselves on new things. If someone you care for doesn't share this intellectual thirst with you, then you find yourself losing interest quickly. Yes, yes, and yes. I think it's vital to keep your mind sharp and always learning new things. I finally got smart, however, and decided that I can learn a lot on my own for free from the comfort of my home, instead of accumulating thousands of dollars in debt from student loans. So you know what, y'all? I guess this is my coming out party. I am a sapiosexual. No, I'm just kidding. But it's crazy because we just have to have a name or a movement for everything, so I'm just gonna go with it. But I am definitely a person who finds intelligence to be the most sexually attractive feature of a man. I do crave philosophical and psychological discussions. I have a strong desire to be connected with other intellectuals, whether that's family, acquaintances, or my significant other. And interestingly enough, I could see myself being a librarian, but I actually have education and experience in the legal and education fields. So it's safe to say that being intelligent and a fellow sapiosexual is definitely requirement number 2 on my list behind being a Christian. And if the man has the level of intellect I'm referring to, he's going to be good in all other departments too, or at least he'll be able to figure out what to do. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that, he can look like Flavor Flav or somebody. No disrespect to Flavor Flav. He's a legend and a very talented man. He's just not the definition of conventional beauty, or even unconventional beauty for that matter. But that's not the point. The point is, no, he doesn't have to have a body like Arnold with a Denzel face, but he can have arms like Dave Chappelle and a well-groomed beard. Just saying. Well, fam, that is it. Thank you so much for partaking in the inaugural dish with me on this new term, Sapiosexuality, that I'm sure will soon be a movement. But you know what? Maybe not. As the Urban Dictionary puts it, for many, defining oneself as a sapiosexual is also a statement against the current status quo of hookup culture and superficiality, where looks are prized above all. So this may be something that never fully makes it mainstream, since it goes against all the current propaganda. But we shall see. Alright y'all, I hope you've enjoyed yourselves and will come back soon for another helping of the Dish Serve Code. Remember to like, share, and join the family by clicking the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at dish_servecode so you can receive notifications and subscriber exclusives, and also be eligible for entry in future contests and drawings. You can also hit me up by email at missperception.dish@gmail.com with any questions or comments. And please, before you go, drop a comment below and tell me what you think about this new sexual orientation, sapiosexuality. Based off this information, let's say if this became an official extension of heterosexuality, would you consider yourself one? Or just simply, what are the important traits that you look for in a partner? Let me know. But when you leave a comment, please be respectful. We can always agree to disagree. Just keep the disrespect to yourself. Alright, fam? So until we meet again, I'm your sis, Miss Perception. Love and peace.